VE Day, or Victory in Europe Day, was a globally significant event because ultimately it came to symbolize the end or the beginning of the end of one of the most costly conflicts in human history. Throughout the course of the Second World War, in excess of 65 million people perished as a result of bombs, disease, and merely being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was a celebratory moment, but it was also a solemn moment of meditation in which Americans and people all throughout the globe had to confront the issues of their recent past. They had to reconcile the peace that was on the horizon with the violences that had occurred over the past few years. And ultimately, it marked the beginning of this new world order that began to emerge after the defeat of Nazism in 1945. At a local level, VE Day was commemorated in various forms. As was noted on the front page of the Altoona Mirror, there was an interfaith service where religious leaders of various denominations within the central Pennsylvania community came together for a joint service. And I think it speaks a lot to the level and the degree of unity that was felt in America at that time. It didn't matter what religion you were. In many ways, it didn't matter, what color your skin was. It was a moment of solidarity because the Second World War, great communal effort. They went to what was called the Honor Room, located in Altoona City Hall. And that was a room in which all of the walls of that space were adorned with the names of Altoona area service members who had signed up. And it was dedicated on Memorial Day, 1943. And unfortunately, part of that wall, part of that room, included local service members who would not be returning alive. VE Day remains significant today because it demonstrated how people celebrated their communal efforts as victors in what was the bloodiest war in human history. And as I mentioned, citizens greeted this in a number of different ways. It was treated with a rather somber attitude in some circles, celebratory in other. And what it also foreshadows is the fact that the United States had risen to the status of a global power. It had eclipsed some of those older countries that had been the big kids on the block, so to speak, for the decades or century prior to all of this. And so it is a true indicator of where America found itself in the world in 1945, and it's one of those incidents that leads to what ultimately becomes known as the American century.